she just has such a smooth flow in her posing. I mean, look at her. And then we get to the shot right here. Alright, so let's get into this edit as soon as possible. Fantastic shoot, love this model. I will link her Instagram down below, and also linked below will be the TIFF file so you can follow along with my edit. So here in Lightroom, just basic edits. It was a little underexposed, brought the exposure up, highlights and shadows up, texture down a little bit. Always do that, just has a little bit of a skin smoothing effect without reducing clarity. Vibrance up a little bit, sharpening up to 65 with masking at 87. Pretty much the basic stuff. I left looks like I brought the temp down to 6150. What was it originally? 6650, so it was a little bit warm originally. Brought that down just a little bit. So let's bring this into Photoshop. So the first thing I see here, obviously, there really wasn't enough room to do the Instagram crop in Lightroom, so I usually come over here and I'll clean it up first. The edges, fill this edge in over here, get as much as we can, and then I can see that we need some cleaning up on the paper done here as well. And then that will be most of the edits. I mean, she's just about perfect. There's not a lot I need to do to her. So it's mainly just all the stuff around her. So shooting in a small room, what can you do? I couldn't back up and shoot it with a long focal length and get her all in there. I composed her as best I could. You saw the room was pretty small. I didn't have a lot of room to move back. So it is what it is. And so this is what we end up doing. So the first thing I will do then is let's see if we can fill this area in here. And ideally, I just want to see this gray going up to the top with white sides and this tape and stuff gone. So let's see. We're going to right click on that area, choose fill, content aware, hit OK, and let's see what it does. Exactly what I hoped it would do. So we got rid of all that junk up there. Again, going with the low-hanging fruit, going to come down here and see if we can kind of fill this in. It might grab some of that scarf. We'll just see what it does. I right-click, choose fill, filled it in perfectly, right? So let me see if I'm able to get all of this here. It's going to kind of get into her elbow there. I'm going to kind of manually go to the lasso tool and just manually make this selection. Just going as close as I can or away from the elbow there. Come down here, just like that. And we've got that whole area selected. I might have missed a little at the top, we'll see. Right click, fill, content aware, okay. Okay, that did something unexpected. So I'm going to hit Control Z, which is undo. Where it got the green from, I don't know. So instead, I'm going to keep this selection and I'm going to choose Edit, Content Aware Fill, instead of trying to do it the quick way and just doing it the way I did it before. So we have a preview here. So what I'll do is I will actually select an area that I want it to pull pixels from. So it's not trying to sample areas that I don't want sampled. So in other words, I'm going to come here, get as much of the canvas as I can, because really that is what I want. We'll get this down here, and you can see the preview over here. Doesn't look perfect, but if we can get ourselves, 80% of the way there, get as much of a sample as we can. Now it's looking better over there. I did miss a spot at the top, so we'll have to fix that. I'm going to hit OK, and it fills it in. Not perfect. We're going to have to do a little work. But again, 80% there. Let's grab the, and I've done this on the background so far. I've done this so many times, I get in the habit of doing that. We could at this point do a Control J, duplicate the background layer, and let's pick the clone stamp tool. I'm going to do a flow of say 30% for this at the top. Hold down the Alt or Option, grab a sample of the area that I want to clone from, and just start painting, right? This is tough because we have texture on the background here, right? So we're just going to have to try to blend some of this in as best we can. We'll increase the size there, come down here, and maybe just start trying to blend this in a little bit better. See what we can do here. It's not bad, not bad. Whoops, got some ghosting. Control Z, undo. Went a little bit too far, did it again. Let me make my left bracket, makes it smaller. Let me just come here. There we go. And I'm just holding down the Alt or Option key, grabbing a sample, and working my way down, right? Till we get to here. This is going to be tough. I'm going to have to either get rid of this bottom bar, which is going to be more trouble than it's worth, or try to duplicate it, clone it maybe from over on this side. It's not a lot of, or maybe right here, clone this and bring it over here. You know, we just have to see what it looks like. So I'm going to grab that right there and come over here. Clone as much of it as I can. Grab that right there. Try to line it up as best as possible. Clone that right there. I had a little line or something that I got there. And there we go. So I've extended that bar. You can come down here, start cleaning some of this up. All right. This was black paper. It was whatever was left on the black roll. It ran out. It was enough to go from the top of the roll to the floor. So I took it off and I put it on the floor, and we just used whatever was left as our flooring, and then use the canvas as the backdrop. So let's grab this sample right here, and let's see what we can do here. See how far we can go. Grab another one. See how far we can take this thing. And kind of a little wonky right there. Let me get it again. Maybe if I get the bottom line, try to line it up. Getting into her sock there. Let me get the bottom line again. Trying to just line it up so it looks, you know, even. Hard to do all the way across, right? Close, close, not perfection though. Let's see if we can grab this and just kind of, I think that's going to be pretty good. It's going to be the best I'm going to get it today. So we can come down here, get some of these spots. Tough because we have shadows here. Let's just see what we can do. Just don't want to make any obvious edits. I got a little ghosting right there I need to cover up. So covered up the tape. You know, you could use the patch tool to grab some of these things. Kind of just sticking with clone stamp for now. Trying to just stay along with that shadow. Trying to just clean it up a little bit, right? Make it a little bit smaller. Just some of these footprints and places where there's dirt, right? And a little spot right there. Clean that up pretty well. All right, so we've got the canvas extended. Turn that off. Turn that back on. See what we did there? And then I originally did some of the edits on the background, or I'd be able to turn that off. But you see the benefits of doing everything on a new layer. You know, not you know, there's a little bit of darkness up here. I may want to even that out a little bit. Kind of just take some strokes here. I mean, you're kind of, I'm on the background layer again. Let's see. Make sure that you go up to the top layer. Right. And, you know, it does get darker as it goes up to the corners, but it was a little bit too dark. Got some ghosting, Control Z. Okay. I just want to kind of even it out as best I can. And I lose a little bit of texture, as you can see when I do that. This down here was just where there were some folds in the canvas. I'm on the fence about doing anything about that. Let's just see what it looks like. You know, maybe a little better. Where there are like wrinkles in the canvas. I think that's good. Okay, so now I'm looking for just anything that I missed, you know, obvious edits where you get the pixel peepers and they go, aha, I see where you edited that. Like there's a little vertical line right there from ghosting on the edges, right? So let me get that. All right, so that's the tedious cleanup. I think we've got it. You know, she's darn near perfect. So, I mean, the only thing I would do here maybe is dodge and burn. There's dodge and burn actions out there. I've gone through in some of my other videos showing you how to create those dodge and burn layers. I have actions that do it for me. Go out there on the internet, look them up. You can download free dodge and burn actions. Okay. When dodging and burning, make sure you have the mask selected and that you are painting with primary color of white. Make sure that you are using the brush tool, this one right here, and that hardness is set to 0%. And when we're doing the kind of the global dodge and burn, I'll set it to about 5%. When I'm on the face, things like that, I'll set it to maybe, 3%, something like that. So 5% right now. We'll see what it looks like. And I'm going to dodge first. Now you see that if you're paying attention, a little bit of hard light from that Gary Fong modifier on that speed light, but look at the edge light right here on the legs. It's not overblown. It's not too hot. It's not blown out. It's just perfect. Look at that. You see that right there? I don't need to dodge that at all. It's dodged in camera with my lighting, right? This on the elbow, a little bit hot, right? I would prefer that not be as hot as it is, but it is what it is, okay? Softbox maybe would have softened that down a little bit, okay? But overall, happy. And then I did have that backlight. That was a softbox, a little small strip box. You can see lit up the hair. You can see some light on the edges here on her shoulders and a little bit on her arms and then right here on her hips, okay? So really love the lighting, real simple, nothing, too extravagant. And then I had the key light, providing soft light on the front, right? So real nice. So I'm just going to dodge a little bit, certain areas like right in here. We'll dodge that. Maybe right in here. Okay. This is already dodged pretty well by the lighting. I don't feel the need to make that any brighter. There's a little line here. And that spray we sprayed on earlier, again, if you're paying attention, that will help add sheen like this to the legs. Especially on models with darker skin, it works really well, and it doesn't look greasy. Like it doesn't look like you slathered them in baby oil or something. It's just a sheen, and it looks really nice. Okay. Let's see. I think that's pretty much. We'll go in here and dodge that a little bit, and right here, and then we'll go into the face right here. We'll work on just a little bit under the eyes. She's got a dark spot right there. We'll get the face next. So let's go to burn, and burn will you come in here and get the shadows, and it's just going to give you more contrast between the lights and the darks, give you a little contour, right? So get the darker areas, and then the areas that you highlighted will even be more evident, right? Look at the way that edge lighting is right there. I love it. Undo. I was darkening the light spot there. So let's get that right there. Let's go back to dodge, and I didn't really dodge this. So let's dodge that. Go back to burn, and we'll make it a little smaller. Kind of get these areas here, and we'll get this right here, right? And this right here. And that's it. So I'm going to hold down Shift and select both layers, do Control G to group them together, and then I can turn off the group, and that will, let me recenter this. Control 0 recenters it. I'm going to turn off the dodge and burn. That's without it, and that's with it. You see how it adds the contour? That's without it, and that's with it. Okay? So it just adds a little contour. So let's go, and I'm going to do a new layer, new blank layer, and let's get some of these little spots here, which you can't even see unless you're zoomed in, but we'll get them. Whoops. Let's not get that. Let's not create any new spots. Might have to get a clone stamp on that one. And I think we got it. That's good enough right there. So let's break out the clone stamp tool, bring it down to about 10%. We'll zoom into the spot where I messed it up, right? Alt or Option, grab that target, and then come over here and just start cloning that in. Just kind of try to contour it there. All right, that's better. I'll zoom out and just make sure it doesn't look funny. You can't even tell from zooming out. So, all right, so let's get the, got a little dark spot there. Let me see if I can get that with just 10% on the clone stamp, and I'm going to clone right here. And I'm going to come up here and just start kind of working my way under the eye, right? Just like that. Turn it off. Right there. There's with it off. There's with it on. We kind of just softened that down a little bit. Ideally, you might want to do that little piece under the eye on another layer so you could bring, you know, the opacity down about to there. That looks a little better. And really, you know, the other spots that I fixed, you can't see them. So that's pretty good. Let me turn it off. You see that? Turn it on. So really easy way of getting circles under the eyes. You just use a clone stamp about 10%, clone from right underneath it, and then fill it in up here. And then usually it's a little bit too much, and you want to bring your opacity down to 50, 60%, and then it looks natural. And it's easy to go overboard with that. So turn the layer off, and you can, even when I've brought the opacity down to 64%, I'll turn it back on, and you can see that it's still made a big difference. So that is really all I feel the need to do with this shot, other than if we wanted to crop it for Instagram, we can come right here. And notice I've got Instagram as 4:5 up here for my crop. And I can bring this down to about right there. Make sure content aware is checked. Hit the check mark or enter on the keyboard. And, okay, here's a gotcha. Control Z will undo. Okay. I'm on a blank layer here. So either I'm going to have to right click and flatten all my layers down, which is right click, flatten image, and it'll flatten it all the way down. Or if you want to keep your layers, you can do Control Shift, Alt or Option E, right? And that creates a new layer with pixels in it with all your changes below, right? Included. So let's try it again. Right here, and we'll bring this down about right here. And I'm going to give her just a little more headroom. About right there. Make sure content, see it turned it off. I'm going to turn it back on. Make sure that content aware is checked, and it will fill in these edges based on the edges that are there now. And hopefully it does a good job. So let's try it again. And it did a really good job. Let me move me out of the way and check this edge over there. It did. And there we go. that is the final edit of my favorite shot of the shoot. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you very much to Jennifer. Wonderful model. Thank you guys for hanging in there. If you're still watching and you're still here, I really appreciate it. I hope you learned something and I hope this helped. Give me a like and a subscribe if you're so inclined, and you guys have a great day.